In this video, I will share with you one method that I have been using to develop students' oracy skills and encourage high-quality talk while teaching online. You will of course be aware that oracy and high-quality talk can have a huge impact on a student's education. It not only helps them to gain confidence, develop discussion and presentation skills, but it's also critical to their personal development too. I was really aware of this as we moved into lockdown and as lessons moved online, and I realised that opportunities for oracy were hugely reduced. As Professor Frank Hardman says, oracy is our most powerful tool and it's central to learning and teaching. So I tasked myself with finding a way to incorporate this into as many lessons as possible. Saying that oracy and writing skills are very much parallel to each other. Particularly in English, we talk through ideas and have lengthy discussions before putting any ideas on paper. And obviously, whilst this was more challenging via Google Meet, I wanted to experiment with students developing their oracy skills so that we could also improve their writing at the same time. I would try a talking essay. It's a straightforward idea. Rather than writing a response, the students would simply talk it. I tried this initially with my year 11s, and they've been my guinea pigs for all the new ways of working, so I knew that they would be enthusiastic. I tasked them with talking their essay responses, following exactly the same structure as they would an essay, using the same academic language and phrasing. The aim for them really was for their responses to sound exactly the same as if they had written a response and then read it out loud. Recorded their responses, I set up my expectations for the task as clearly as possible. We had planned all ideas for the response in class. They were feeling confident with the content and the structure, which was obviously the first step. Then I modelled how I would like the speech to sound, just for a few sentences during the lesson, ensuring that they were confident with the academic register, appropriate vocabulary, and key terminology that I was expecting. I was also really clear that this wasn't a conversation with me, and they weren't to meander through ideas. This needed to be focused, this needed to exactly follow that structure which we would use in writing. Then alongside all of this preparation, the preparation of content, I provided the students with sentence starts and key terminology so they could use this when they were recording and to support their line of thinking. They prepared their plans and finalised everything ready to record. I reminded them that they wouldn't be marked on their delivery. The ums and pauses were absolutely fine, that they knew this structure, they knew this content. It was simply about saying what they would write. I then asked them to use voice notes or a voice recording device on their phones. Some of them did use videos and then posted that as a private YouTube, which also worked really well. Here you can see the slides that I put together, which I shared with the students in the lesson. You'll see that I've tried to keep this as low stakes as possible. This was very much a new way of working rather than a test or me marking them on their speeches. As I mentioned earlier, I shared scaffolds with the students so that they could be really clear about sentence starts and keywords which they could use if they wanted to. The students are familiar with this layout. We use it for all essay responses. So again, trying to keep as many things as familiar and as normal as possible to reduce worries and maintain that essay style thought process. And then I set them off to record it as a homework task. I'm sure you can appreciate this is by no means revolutionary, but I wanted to share it with you because the results were brilliant. The students far exceeded my expectations, and actually they were incredibly positive about this task as well. The engagement level was excellent. It demonstrated to both the students and myself that they did know the content and they were really clear about their responsive structure. The pauses for me were never too long, and in fact were simply a mark of concentration and active thinking. But I think most important for me about this task was that it meant that everybody was heard, which was really important. Those students were engaging, but are often very quiet in lessons and perhaps don't always get the opportunity to share their ideas as much as some of their peers. I put this together thinking English and an essay style response, but I'm going to extend my use, and I was trying to think about different ways this could be used across different subjects as well. So for Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 5, I think this could be used as a task to check memory and knowledge retrieval, perhaps asking students to summarise a topic, a process, maybe with a slide to accompany it as a small homework task. It could be that you use this as a really short 30-second explanation of a process. It could be that it's a little longer. I also think this would make an excellent planning tool. So maybe talking through how students might approach an exam question, checking they're clear, recalling content this way, as well as how to write their responses. Or equally, and I think I'm going to use this one with my year 11s next, I quite like the idea of students recording a series of ideas, so giving them each a specific part of a topic and then bringing all of those recordings and videos together as like a little revision series. Perhaps once you've checked that they're all correct, you could share with students so they could listen to each other explaining key ideas, key characters, key processes. And of course, it's not all about our exam classes. Key Stage 3 are doing a fantastic job of working online as well. And whilst all the previous ideas could work with the younger students, perhaps we could use this just for them to summarise a lesson, a process, a character. It might be a great opportunity for them to record their findings, perhaps in science or in maths, or maybe to explain how they approached a project, talking through a data set or preparing a response equally. I'm hoping that students find this sort of really engaging and that it's useful. Certainly we've shared some of the responses I had with Year 11 with peers, so perhaps you could ask students to work in pairs together to record an idea and then equally share these back with the class. Hopefully this has been helpful, or at least food for thought about how you could build more discussion and high quality talk into your online learning. Thank you very much.